Hey there! Today we're going to talk about a slightly odd pen. The pen was recommended to me by someone. In all honesty, I forgot your name because a lot of people recommend stuff to me. I'm sorry about that, but you know who you are. Thanks. And we're talking about the Nisstiiv pen. I'm not sure how I should pronounce Nisstiiv. 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 But it's a nice brand, and apparently they make mainly jewelry. You can find them on eBay. And I got one of their pens. It was $20, not too expensive, and for that you get a modern safety pen. Safety pen is a pen that has this is actually a vintage thing. It has a nib that can be retracted, and then it's sort of like it's difficult to explain. It's like sort of a piston thing, and that draws up ink. Just check out vintage pen online, and you will find some good examples. And we're talking about this pen. It came with this nice leather sheath, which is a bit big for the pen. It's not such a huge pen. You can push it in all the way. Question is, will I ever be able to get it out? It is a leather sheet. It is, at least to me, it really appears to be genuine leather, which is not bad. I could be wrong, of course. Here we got the pen. It's not a big pen. What have I got that... well, okay, this is not a fair comparison because this is a big pen. This is a Schrade tactical pen. And this is the Nisstiiv pen. But it's not a huge pen. It's not particularly small. I think it's oh wait, here's a mini. That's a good comparison. It's just a little bit bigger than a mini. All right. So, what's fun about this pen? I'll cover the parts of the pen, tell what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'll do a writing sample. The pen came with one cartridge, and it came with that leather sheath. There was no box. But I think that's for $20, getting a sheath is already quite nice, actually. Parts of the pen. On top of the pen, little black dome. We have the clip. We have the cap. The cap feels like it's some type of metal, maybe aluminum, something. It has the brand name Nisstiiv right there. The clip is nice and shiny. It's tight without being excessively tight. I like it. We have the barrel, black, nothing too fancy going on there, nice and shiny. Little ring there. At the end of the barrel, there's nothing. But this is, of course, where the fun starts. The cap just slides off, and then you think, nib, where's the nib? The nib appears when you twist this bit. That's the safety part of the pen. However, it's not actually a safety fill to the extent that it's not a piston-filled pen or anything. Withdrawing the nib or whatever will not actually draw up ink. That's not the way it works. It just takes a cartridge. Came with one cartridge. I slid in. I'm trying to unscrew it here. There we go. I slid in a Kaweco mini converter. You see that thing? That's actually that nib assembly, not nib assembly, but that nib retraction unit thing. So you can sort of twist that twists around. I still don't fully understand how they've made that, but apparently by twisting this bit, the blind cap, you twist this whole thing, and then the nib is retracted or something. It's pretty nifty, actually. I like it. All right, we were talking. Doesn't screw back in place. Probably have to retract that nib or something. Wait, what I do? There we go. Alright, sorry. Got it. Alright, nib, small, two-tone, says iridium point, is fine, writes adequately. No issues. It's gives some feedback, especially on the diagonal upstrokes, I believe, but I'm pretty confident I can smooth that out a bit. It's not an extremely scratchy nib or anything. Alright, then we have the section, and that's probably my only issue with the pen. It's smooth. It's just a little bit tapered. Nothing too fancy. A little bit of a flare. I think that's actually a cap lip that keeps the cap in place. It clicks in place. So there you go. And that's the pen. Small. And one thing that's interesting, noodler smell. If you've ever used a noodler's pen, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, that's what this pen has. Noodler smell. Yep, definitely noodler smell. Alright. What do I like about it? What do I not like about it? Well, clearly it's a funny pen. It's interesting. It's you know, you have your sort of conversation piece at the office. Look, I've got a sort of safety pen. You see it? So you twist it here, and then you. I mean, that's kind of nice. It's a small size pen. It's not huge. You can easily slip this into a pocket or you know, a purse or whatever. That's quite nice. And again, kind of fancy to take this out and then twist it to get the nib out, etc. One thing I don't like about it, there's quite a step down from the barrel, which you can see there, and it's quite significant. I think that's really up to, well, I think it's actually a millimeter, which may not sound like a lot, but you got it on both sides. And if you're like me, you hold your pen a little bit higher, then you're really feeling that. And the edges of that step down are really sharp. These are not rounded off. That's just the sort of the resin cut, and they didn't do any polishing, I think. There was a little metal ring, but that is not, and that's sort of tapered, but that is not large enough to cover that resin, if that makes any sense. So you will feel that sharp edge. You can probably, maybe with use, it'll just lose some of its sharpness. I suppose you can even maybe make it a little less sharp yourself. I'm not exactly sure how, but I'm sure there's someone smart out there who has some ideas about that. It's not a huge hang-up, but it's something that, you know, I noticed. The pen is small. I would definitely use this posted. Unposted is a little bit too small for me. The posted, it's fine. No issues there. And you know what? That's all there's to it. So pretty small. Let's take some measurements. As I said, small. So I want to see how small. Da 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 da. Nib. That was the nib song. Da 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 da. Nib. That was the nib song again. I have 125 millimeters. That is about 4 inches and 66. Well, about 59/64 of an inch. Uncapped. Nib. That was the reprise of the nib song. All right. Come on. Right. Okay, so we got 112 millimeters uncapped. That's 4 inches and about 24/64 of an inch. I just want to take the measurements of the section diameter. The narrowest point, it's about 9.5 millimeters. That is 24/64 of an inch. At the widest point, it's about 10 millimeters, and that's about a little over 25/64 of an inch. How about that? Alright, I think we all want to see how this writes. That's what we're going to do next, and that's all there's to it. So I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Nib. Alright, so here we go with this Nisstiiv pen, and here I have a universal converter, and it fits. And if you look at the barrel, you may think, well, that should fit, but unfortunately when you screw it in, it doesn't go all the way up. So I think that has something to do with that nib retraction mechanism. You see that nib? See? It just, for some reason, it just will not fit. But fortunately we have the correct converter, which fits. Just be careful when you pull it out. You don't want. I'm not sure how. It feels like this is pretty stable, but I probably don't want to pull too hard on that. I'm just going to ink this up. I'm doing that off camera, sorry. Okay, there we go. I think we got some ink in there. Just wiping this off, and I'm assembling the pen. And there we go. Alright, so let's do a bit of writing. Here we have a I really have to check the name to spell this right. Nisstiiv. So these are two I's. This is their safety pen. The nib obviously is fine. The ink is Akkerman Trèves Turquoise. Bit of writing. And the paper is Rhodia. Alright, the nib gives feedback. It's very fine, that was to be expected. In the upward diagonals it's a little scratchy, but I think you could actually smooth that out a bit. It's not terrible. Let's do some fast writing. Yeah, it's the upward diagonals. I feel some scratch there, but again, as I said, not so pronounced. And hey, it's a $20 pen. It's that's also quite fine. So I guess that was a little bit to be expected. Whoop, whoop. Okay, wetness. It's a pretty wet ink and it's Rhodia paper. But for a relatively fine nib, I would say it's not excessively dry, which is a nice thing. How about line variation? Well, that's not too shabby for a steel nib. Not too bad. Alright. How about writing upside down? Some people apparently like to do that. Okay, writing now is extremely scratchy. The nib is meant to be used in this way, and as you can see it's very dry, almost to the point of becoming illegible. So, there you have it. Whoop! This is too much fun. This is the Nisstiiv pen. Whoop! It's fun. It's not an authentic safety filler, it has no piston or whatever in there, but you can retract the nib, which is just a nice novelty thing. It's not at all a bad pen. It's a decent, sort of, this is a Twist Beam Mini, so it's not too big a pen. I think it's fun, and sometimes that's enough. And it's not even a poor writer or anything. So, here you have it. I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later.